While you're planning your next vacation on travel websites, France's wealthiest elite are flying private jets to a coastal town so exclusive that most French people have never heard of it, despite housing their president's personal villa. Le Touquet-Paris-Plage represents the ultimate luxury secret, a place where British aristocrats conducted affairs so scandalous that half of Parliament seemed to relocate there permanently, where literary giants like Ian Fleming found inspiration for James Bond, and where today's billionaires maintain second homes worth millions that they visit less than their local coffee shops. This impossible paradise emerged from absolutely nothing. Barren sand dunes that one visionary Parisian transformed into Europe's most exclusive playground by planting thousands of pine trees and betting that rich people would pay ridiculous amounts for sophisticated discretion. The gamble worked so spectacularly that this tiny town now operates with MONACO-level budgets while maintaining the kind of privacy that money truly can buy. Therefore, in today's episode of So Luxury Travel, we reveal the wealthiest French town you've never heard of, Le Touquet-Paris-Plage. Le Touquet-Paris-Plage sits on France's northern coast like a perfectly manicured secret, where 1,600 hectares of what used to be worthless sand dunes now house some of Europe's most expensive vacation homes. This improbable paradise exists because in 1837, a Parisian notary named Alphonse Dalloz looked at barren wasteland that even goats refused to visit and decided to spend 150,000 francs, proving that vision beats common sense. Dalloz's seemingly insane plan involved planting thousands of maritime pines to stop sand from blowing around, creating a forest where nothing but weeds and shepherd complaints had existed before. The plan worked so brilliantly that by 1882 his friend Hippolyte de Villemessant, who happened to own Le Figaro newspaper, suggested naming it Paris-Plage to lure wealthy Parisians tired of breathing city air. Enter John Robinson Whiteley, an English businessman with more money than sense, who took one look at this pine-scented miracle and thought, "I'll bet rich people would pay ridiculous amounts to vacation here." Whiteley wasn't wrong. By the 1920s, Le Touquet hosted France's biggest casino, where British aristocrats lost more money in a single evening than most people earned in a decade. The Royal Picardy Hotel made every other luxury establishment look like a roadside motel. 500 rooms, 50 apartments with private pools, and enough butlers to staff a small embassy. Guests included everyone from Winston Churchill, who presumably needed somewhere to smoke cigars in peace, to the Prince of Wales, who flew his own plane for weekend gambling sessions because commercial aviation was for commoners. During peak season, British MPs abandoned Parliament so enthusiastically that London newspapers joked about conducting government business from Le Touquet's casino tables instead of Westminster. The town attracted writers like P.G. Wodehouse, who lived there until the war, and probably used his neighbors as inspiration for his absurdly wealthy fictional characters. H.G. Wells eloped there, Ian Fleming got inspired to write Casino Royale there, and Sean Connery signed his Bond contract there, making Le Touquet the unofficial headquarters of British literary and cinematic espionage. Today, this fantasy land maintains 4,000 permanent residents, but welcomes 250,000 visitors annually, transforming every summer into a temporary city of 30,000 people with unlimited vacation budgets. The economics defy logic. Tiny French town operates with the budget of a major city, sustained entirely by people rich enough to own second homes they visit 3 months per year. French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte own a villa here, making Le Touquet the only place where you might bump into the leader of France while buying overpriced croissants. What happened next would make even the most jaded aristocrats blush. Le Touquet became the epicenter for affairs so scandalous that half of British Parliament seemed to have moved there permanently. Le Touquet during the 20s and 30s operated like Las Vegas for people who owned castles. What happened in Le Touquet stayed in Le Touquet, mainly because everyone involved had too much to lose if it didn't. Wealthy visitors developed an ingenious system, maintained two sets of hotel rooms, one for the wife and one for the mistress, because apparently regular adultery wasn't complicated enough without adding logistics challenges. The Prince of Wales and Wallis Simpson conducted their romance here with all the subtlety of a fireworks display, though the press mysteriously failed to notice anything happening because discretion was still fashionable. Writers flocked here like moths to very expensive flames. P.G. Wodehouse lived here until German soldiers interrupted his creative process, while H.G. Wells used Le Touquet as his personal romantic headquarters. Ian Fleming spent enough time at the casino to write Casino Royale with authentic detail, proving that the best spy fiction comes from actual experience, watching rich people gamble away inherited fortunes. The casino itself became legendary for hosting Maharajas, Russian princes, English dukes and Arab kings, basically anyone with enough money to lose spectacular amounts while maintaining perfect dinner party manners. Sean Connery sealed his James Bond destiny by signing the contract at the Westminster Hotel, surrounded by the same atmosphere of sophisticated danger that would define his most famous character. World War II crashed this paradise like an unwelcome tax audit. Germans occupied every luxury villa, turned the casino into military headquarters, and left behind more explosive devices than guests had previously lost casino chips. The town became France's most thoroughly mined location, with over 130,000 explosives scattered around like deadly Easter eggs, making post-war reconstruction a literal minefield. P.G. Wodehouse got interned as an enemy alien, proving that even beloved humorists couldn't escape wartime paranoia, though his experience probably provided material for stories about bureaucratic absurdity. Allied bombing finished what German occupation started, destroying the magnificent Royal Picardy Hotel and several other architectural treasures that had defined Le Touquet's golden age. Recovery took decades, but the town rebuilt with characteristic determination to remain France's most exclusive playground, albeit with fewer explosive surprises buried in the sand. Modern celebrities still visit, though contemporary affairs are managed with more sophisticated privacy protection than 20s-era aristocrats required for their romantic adventures. The Macrons represent today's political connection. Brigitte inherited a family villa, making Le Touquet their preferred escape from presidential duties and Parisian protocol requirements. Yet all these celebrity shenanigans were just expensive theater masking the real magic trick: how a town with 4,000 residents operates like a city of 30,000 and somehow makes it profitable. Le Touquet operates with an annual budget of 36 million euros, despite having fewer permanent residents than a decent shopping mall has employees, a mathematical impossibility that somehow works perfectly. This financial wizardry stems from hosting 250,000 annual visitors who collectively own 12,000 secondary homes worth more than most French cities' entire real estate markets. The median income hits 30,000 euros annually, 50% higher than surrounding areas, while property prices average nearly 9,000 euros per square metre, making local real estate agents the happiest people in northern France. 80% of homes serve as vacation properties, creating a town where neighbours know each other only during July and August, then vanish like expensive ghosts until next summer. The demographics read like a retirement community catalogue. 60% of residents are over 60, half live alone, and children are so rare they're practically tourist attractions themselves. Tourism drives 89% of local businesses compared to 65% nationally, proving that Le Touquet successfully transformed itself into a luxury service economy that makes Las Vegas look diversified. Property values range from apartments starting at 7,000 euros per square metre to houses commanding 12,000 euros per square metre, with luxury villas exceeding 3 million euros for those requiring multiple pools and helicopter pads. The poverty rate hovers at 10% compared to 18% regionally, demonstrating how effective luxury tourism can lift local living standards when properly managed and marketed to appropriate demographics. Events like the Enduropole motorcycle race generate nearly 1 million overnight stays annually, proving that wealthy people will travel great distances to watch other people race expensive motorcycles across sand dunes. When COVID cancelled the 2021 race, Le Touquet lost €5 million in revenue, demonstrating how completely the town depends on rich people's leisure activities for basic economic survival. Tax-free shopping attracts British visitors who cross the Channel specifically to buy luxury goods without paying UK taxes, making Le Touquet a shopping destination for people who consider tax avoidance a recreational sport. Quality of life rankings place Le Touquet among France's top 200 communities despite its tiny size, proving that money can indeed buy happiness when spent on appropriate municipal services and infrastructure. The 25 season featured Todd Kellett winning his third consecutive Enduropole victory, drawing thousands of spectators whose spending supports local businesses for months beyond the actual racing weekend. Hotel capacity includes over 1,000 rooms across 20 establishments, plus camping, apartment hotels and homestays that transform ordinary residences into luxury accommodation during peak seasons. Money attracts money, but keeping the wealthy entertained requires more than impressive bank statements. It demands the kind of physical infrastructure that makes billionaires forget they could afford to build their own private resorts. The Westminster Hotel survives as Le Touquet's last remaining palace from the Golden Age, featuring 104 rooms designed by people who understood that wealthy guests expect every detail to cost more than reasonable. This five-star establishment includes a Michelin-starred restaurant called Le Pavillon, because apparently regular excellent food wasn't sufficient for people accustomed to eating money for breakfast. The hotel's Nux Spa offers heated pools, saunas and fitness centers where guests can relax after exhausting days of spending astronomical amounts on luxury goods and recreational activities. Dalhousie original forest now spans 800 hectares, housing woodpeckers, snakes and orchids that somehow coexist peacefully with millionaires riding expensive bicycles through carefully maintained trails. 21 buildings enjoy historical monument protection, more than any other French seaside resort, including Villa Tata Ice, a 1929 creation with a pink facade shaped like a human face that would make contemporary architects reconsider their career choices. The lighthouse requires climbing 274 steps for panoramic views, providing excellent exercise for visitors whose daily physical activity usually involves lifting champagne glasses and signing large checks. Golf facilities include 3 courses with the prestigious Le Maire course, rated among Europe's top 100, inaugurated by British Prime Minister Arthur Balfour, who presumably needed somewhere appropriate to discuss international affairs between putts. Equestrian facilities offer beach riding through famous dunes, allowing wealthy visitors to experience nature while maintaining sufficient luxury to prevent actual contact with sand or wildlife. Tennis courts number over 30, maintaining Le Touquet's reputation as the paradise of sports among people who consider competitive recreation another form of expensive entertainment requiring proper equipment and professional instruction. Le Touquet Elizabeth II Airport was recently renamed to honor the late Queen, though it currently operates without scheduled flights, serving primarily wealthy individuals whose travel schedules operate independently of commercial aviation constraints. Shopping includes boutiques from Chanel and other luxury brands along Rue de Metz, where buying a handbag costs more than most people's monthly rent, but somehow feels reasonable given the surrounding atmosphere. Cultural attractions include museums, art festivals, and events like the Printemps de l'Art Déco celebration that showcases architectural heritage while providing appropriate entertainment for visitors whose cultural interests require premium presentation. The Macron Villa represents contemporary political relevance. Brigitte inherited the property, making Le Touquet the only place where French presidents conduct unofficial business while wearing vacation clothes and eating expensive seafood. Environmental protection balances development through nature preserves and dune conservation, proving that luxury tourism can coexist with conservation when properly managed by people who understand long-term value creation. All this carefully constructed luxury faces its ultimate test: whether Le Touquet can survive the 21st century without losing the very exclusivity that makes millionaires choose French beaches over Caribbean islands. Le Touquet faces the ultimate luxury problem: how to remain exclusive while adapting to a world where everyone has cameras, social media makes secrets impossible, and environmental consciousness affects vacation choices. The town spent over a century perfecting the balance between accessibility and exclusivity, close enough to Paris and London for weekend trips, exclusive enough that ordinary tourists feel appropriately intimidated by the prices. Environmental challenges include protecting 800 hectares of forest, 11 kilometers of beaches, and dune systems that define the landscape while accommodating hundreds of thousands of annual visitors expecting pristine conditions. Digital age complications involve managing social media exposure that could compromise the discreet atmosphere historically preferred by celebrities seeking privacy rather than publicity from their luxury experiences. Climate change threatens coastal infrastructure through rising sea levels and increased storm intensity, requiring expensive adaptations that could affect the economic equations making luxury tourism profitable. Over 400 annual events maintain cultural vitality while generating revenue streams that support local businesses during traditionally quiet seasons when wealthy visitors hibernate in warmer climates. The town's British heritage provides unique appeal for English visitors seeking sophisticated continental experiences, while French sophistication attracts international guests desiring refined European luxury without Monaco's astronomical costs. Future development must emphasize sustainable practices without sacrificing luxury standards, appealing to environmentally conscious wealthy travelers who want to feel good about their carbon footprints while maintaining comfortable lifestyles. Generational wealth transfer creates opportunities and challenges as younger millionaires inherit family properties, but may prefer different destinations or vacation styles than their parents and grandparents favored. Le Touquet's continued success depends on adapting to changing luxury market demands while preserving the essential character that has attracted wealthy visitors for over a century. The town demonstrates that sustainable luxury requires more than beautiful locations. It demands visionary planning, consistent investment, cultural sensitivity, and adaptability while maintaining core values that define authentic experiences. Competition from global luxury destinations means Le Touquet must continuously innovate while respecting historical character, offering experiences unavailable elsewhere without compromising the exclusivity that justifies premium pricing. Modern challenges include balancing tourism growth with infrastructure capacity, managing seasonal employment needs, and maintaining service standards that meet evolving expectations of internationally mobile wealthy visitors. Le Touquet's legacy proves that authentic luxury involves creating environments where extraordinary wealth feels natural rather than ostentatious, making it France's most successful experiment in sustainable elite tourism through careful stewardship. Here, among pine forests and golden beaches where British aristocrats once conducted scandalous affairs and French presidents now escape political pressures, discerning travelers discover that true luxury means never having to explain why you deserve it. Le Touquet-Paris-Plage represents the ultimate luxury paradox, a town that shouldn't exist by any logical measure, yet thrives as one of France's most exclusive enclaves. What began as barren sand dunes transformed through visionary investment into a playground where British aristocrats conducted affairs, literary giants found inspiration, And today's wealthy maintain second homes they visit just 3 months per year. With its €36 million annual budget serving just 4,000 permanent residents, this miniature Monaco proves that exclusivity and discretion remain the most valuable currencies in luxury travel. With that said, we'd love to see you in the comments. Would you prefer vacationing somewhere new each year, or having a luxury second home in a place like Le Touquet? Thanks for watching another episode of So Luxury Travel. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.